force that you'll be, I guess, putting together.
Yeah, we have a tentative, and I wanted to give you that information. Hold on. I have a tentative Monday, possibly at 10:30, but they're still confirming. And of course, your department will be present.
Okay.
Let me just double check. And there's things that, we want to accomplish there. We want to start, it's not alarming, but, in case this gets to be something serious, which it's spreading slowly but surely, we want to make sure that we're prepared as an institution.
And I guess I don't know what we can say at this point about, our health system. Obviously, we're a big player here, the largest health system based here in Miami-Dade, where the Super Bowl is going to be and all that. But we're preparing like
any other facility right now.
Okay.
There's really the risk is low. Even our Department of Health, just so you're aware, really hasn't had much activity in getting all the infection control community together. But at least for now, we're vigilant and already screening at our entrances. Anybody who has traveled to the affected area within 14 days, and if you have, fever, cough, any trouble breathing. So we're doing that as an institution. We want to make sure that, because of travel, because of the Chinese New Year, because of the Super Bowl,
right,
and people travel as a whole, our airport really, I'm just waiting to see when they're going to become a little bit more active with the screening because, we know that San Francisco, Los Angeles, New York are already screening.
Right.
Their international airports, and I know that I believe that today Atlanta and Chicago are going to kind of join screening. So, I anticipate soon probably, Florida International, our airports will also be screening.
Okay.
So, but for right now, so there's really no alarm like in our counties, in either Dade or Broward. Everybody's kind of like in observation mode, but we are screening. We just want to make sure that, anybody coming to our facilities, because the same way that person ended up in Washington State, it can happen in our state and in our facility.
Perfect. That's perfect.
Can I interject just a quick question on that statement?
Mm-hmm.
So when you say that we might be screening passengers at Miami International, is that only those originating from China?
Well, initially, now there's other areas that are affected. Hong Kong, Thailand, we're seeing, scattered cases, and that's what I'm seeing, that eventually, we'll get to that level. We're not there yet. Nothing has been announced, but there is a possibility that this outbreak could be one of the super spreaders.
Right.
So, everybody right now, it's too early, it's too young. We saw the animal to person transmission, and now there's very limited human to human transmission, but that's kind of like how it starts, and then it gears up, and
and then I know the CDC said it's at this point limited person to person, but they're not even clear as to how easily it is spread through person to person.
Honestly, they really don't know what's really happening now, but being that there's a case in the U.S., they kind of put it on speed dial. They've stepped it up a notch.
And I know, and then I guess it's a natural progression of things that Miami MIA will be the next airport, probably.
That's what I think. There's nothing out there. I haven't heard. I was going to call the Department of Health. I want to do that between today and tomorrow and speak to Lillian Rivera to see if they're going to put out some kind of statement or something that they're going to ask us, the ICPs. We have a really tight network that we communicate through the Department of Health. I haven't seen anything, but I was going to be proactive and put a call out to them.
Okay, great. No, and please email us if there's anything that is said of importance that we need to write about regarding that's
especially with the Super Bowl. I just have my eye on the Super Bowl because persons travel, and it's usually 60 to 65,000 from the stats that are out there as far as traveling. From Wuhan to the U.S., and that's a lot of people.
Right.
And we really don't know when they're actually, gonna. So, the only thing that we can really do at this point is screening, protect ourselves. If you can avoid, large crowds, go ahead. But we all know that the Super Bowl is a big event, as well as, other events. that are out there. I know that the Coconut Grove is also going to have the Estefan's daughter, and that's going to be a large crowd too. That's coming up, and yeah.
It's a big month. It's a big month for us, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of activity here, within our neighborhood.
And the marathon as well.
Yes, I forgot about that.
People coming from all over the world.
Oh, we know about it very well, the marathon. Yeah, I know.
So right now, it's really, to kind of screen, try to avoid anybody if, depending on where you are, to really protect yourself as far as, if somebody's coughing. We know that the limited transmission is, droplets, so we just need to be, kind of vigilant to that. That's really what we can do right now and kind of be in observation mode.
That's what I was going to get to. Yeah, the tips for the public basically is the same tips.
Soap and water. Do soap and water. Your gels. Really cover your nose and be vigilant. If you're next to somebody that's coughing or sneezing, if you're traveling yourself too, you need to protect yourself.
Right. And if you're next to somebody who's coughing and sneezing, get away and then wash your hand. I don't know. I guess.
And then kind of flex your elbow if you're doing it versus sneezing in your hands, because that's mostly how you can transmit it. I don't know have you guys ever seen that movie Contagion?
Oh, we just saw it. We were just Peter and I saw it separately. We didn't realize it until the day after.
Oh, you did? You saw it recently? That's scary.
Yeah, it was on TV just 2 nights ago. And we were watching it separately. And we went to work the following morning. He said, "Hey, did you see Contagion?" Yeah, I did. And then this comes out. The first confirmed U.S. case.
That movie is something else. Oh my God!
And it started
maybe like a while back.
Yeah, but Anexis, it also in the movie it started in China as well. It was the ground.
Yeah.
Patient Zero was at a restaurant.
Seafood and bird market.
Just like this is like really amazing.
This one's really broad because they even have everything. They have almost every kind of animal in there. So this one's a pretty big market.
Yeah, exactly, and so
fairly big.
And I think the numbers will grow, I think, pretty quickly here. So but I know we don't want to alarm anybody. But just to, like you said, it's the same tips for infection control, protection you use now. And I don't know if you have any other.
Yeah, I have a couple questions on Anexis. This is Peter. Number one. Do you speak Spanish, and are you comfortable taking interviews from Spanish language media?
Yes, I speak Spanish. I have a little bit of trouble sometimes when I translate. So I don't know if the Dr. What is her name?
Baker. Yeah, I don't think she is.
I don't know. Yeah. She knows Spanish. She knows Spanish too, but I'm not very fluent. I can speak it. I understand it, but I don't know it like the way it should be, like the perfect.
Yeah, I know nobody. Well, that's rare. But don't worry. But
we could do some coaching.
Absolutely. With Georgia or Victoria on our team on the media side, they'll coach you if you have to. But I'm guessing we're going to have media inquiries, and we want to put. I think Dr. Baker's not comfortable with her Spanish. I think. And so it's what I understand, but I haven't talked to her yet.
I've done. You remember when the Norwalk? I went on, but it was American.
Right.
I was interviewed by several reporters, but it was in English, never in Spanish.
No, I know that's no problem. I don't think it will be a problem in Spanish.
Yeah.
But we'll be in touch with Georgie or Victoria from our team, marketing team on the media side. That they deal with the media and inquiries and.
Okay.
So you might hear from them.
Dr. Levine is coming back, and he speaks Spanish too. So he should be back next week. I'm gonna actually get the date because he was out for 2 weeks. I believe this is his second week. Dr. Levine.
Oh, Levine, is he? What's his title?
Yeah, he's my medical director here at Doctors for Infection Prevention and Control.
Oh, okay.
He's really, really good. He's excellent with his patients. He's really on top, and he's part of Dr. Baker's group.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that the group, I believe they have like 6 or 7 doctors. So I'll find out when he's coming back.
All right. And if you talked with Dr. Baker, I don't know if you're going to let her know that I just reached out to her by email just to.
Yes, I don't know her. I haven't been formally introduced to her. I know she works with Dr. Levine, who's my medical director, but. I know that she's going to be invited to Monday at 10:30.
Okay. So this is a meeting where, I don't know, okay, Christine or
Well,
Dory. Dory would be, I guess, the.
Dory.
Yeah.
Dory's gonna be in the meeting.
Oh, good, okay. All right.
It's gonna be a small group, kind of like a pre-planning. We want to look at, what supplies we have, because
Okay.
if this starts spreading as a super spreader in the U.S. and everybody, starts ordering extra respirators and kind of hoarding from different companies. So, I mean, from past experiences that we had with SARS and MERS, that's what happened. So we want to make sure that, we count an inventory, see our PPEs, and, just to put, systems in place that are hardwired.
Okay.
So it's going to be a smaller group, and then I don't know what Dr. Hauser is going to decide, if he's going to have more frequent meetings or.
All right, and you said Lily is she health department for Dade County or for Florida? Florida Health.
Lillian Rivera is for the Miami-Dade.
Miami-Dade Health Department, okay.
Yeah, and I know that because I'm kind of reconvening the flu task force. I've been tasked with that, and I know that they've been represented in that meeting before, so I was going to go ahead and reach out to her.
All right.
For that, and I was going to go ahead and ask her about here, what's happening with the coronavirus, what are they planning to do.
Well, if there's anything substantial, let us know by email, and then we'll.
I will.
We'll reach out to her somehow. I think
Okay.
she knows us pretty well. I think.
Yeah.
Anything else you think at this point?
Yeah, a few more questions, Anexis. Can you, when we're working on the story, we want to try and provide some perspective for people who may not be familiar with this and how it can affect the population. But are there any parallels to previous outbreaks that you can single out?
Here in the county, I mean, we pretty have it, we really haven't had too much activity as far as, because we're pretty prepared as a county, but, I can kind of look and try to get to see if there's some examples, but we in the infection control community, we work very closely through the Department of Health that reports up to the CDC. So we're pretty much prepared in the U.S.
But in terms of previous outbreaks like SARS or MERS from some years back,
we really did not have any problems as far as they're all part of the coronavirus. It's all part of the cold.
Right.
So really, no, we really haven't. I mean, and kind of lessons learned. Not really anything that I can think of. I mean, it's pretty, it's pretty straightforward, as far as the isolation, the containment, and, as a county. And because I guess that we're here in the U.S., a lot of the manufacturing companies really facilitate the things that we need to be able to. I know that when we had anthrax, I was working one of the first cases that we had here in the U.S. that worked in the post office, and we were really whatever you need. They were there every step, of the way. The CDC. We worked with federal agencies, with the Department of Health, and really, if we were to have any kind of outbreak that would really be, affecting the public here, we would have a lot of support from these regulatory agencies. They send many officials from the CDC plus our local Department of Health. Yes, and I don't anticipate, even if we were to have cases here in our county, we would get a lot of support, and I feel that it would be able to be contained as far as in the facilities.
Yeah.
And, we know that our media, they're very supportive, and they really get to spread the word out there. So I feel comfortable that at Baptist we're prepared if we were to have a case.
So we don't know for sure how it's being spread yet?
Not yet. The CDC is. I just looked it up.
It's very limited. We know there's human-to-human transmission, and usually what that is with the droplets. So there's been limited. There's been 17 persons dead, and what's interesting, and they really need to study this a little bit, that you have very severe cases where people have died, and then you have very severe mild cases. Yeah. So that makes it a little more difficult for them to really, do a deep dive and see, what's happening. But,
Right.
The WHO organization is involved, the WHO, the CDC.
Right.
There's a lot of agencies that, and, in total it's 541 persons, which is really, if you think about it, from December 31st till now, it's not that much, but it kind of is. We really need to keep an eye on it just to make sure that it's not a super spreader.
Right. And I know pneumonia itself can have different impacts on different people.
Yeah. And then, the screening is key because you want to be able to ask, have they traveled to the affected areas? Because right now for us, it's influenza. So we have a lot of patients, coming into our emergency room with flu-like symptoms.
And the symptoms can mirror those of...
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So, because, at the end of the day, it's like the common cold. So you have to really do your screenings and ask. Like the hospital that was able to diagnose this, they did a really good job. The employees that were involved in the triage and said, hey, this person traveled, these are the symptoms. So, it's kudos to them, because the whole key with infection prevention for us in the facilities is to identify and isolate. If we suspect, we're going to isolate that patient. And that's the key for us to even have any internal spread.
Okay. And last question, the coronavirus is part of a family of viruses responsible for common colds and other similar illness?
Yes. And it causes, most of the time it just causes, like mild respiratory symptoms, like the common colds. But, it could be as severe as to what's happening now, and it's happened with some of the other ones that we've had persons die. So, the key is to control the spread, and, we know that, it's being seen in Thailand and Hong Kong, now the first case in the U.S., so... we just gotta, be vigilant, calm, but kind of keep our eyes open.
Okay.
All right.
So if you want, when you write it up, you can send it to me. I can kind of give it a little...
Sure, we'll do.
If you'd like.
We'll do, absolutely. And,
okay, you think you're going to write it up today or tomorrow?
Yeah, we're going to try and rush it as much as possible. No later, probably published no later than tomorrow morning, hopefully.
Okay. Yeah, you can send it to me. I'll look at it.
Great. Anexis, I appreciate it tremendously.
Okay.
And I'm sure, I hope not, but we'll probably be talking about this again, maybe.
I hope not.
Yeah, I hope not, right? But with the Super Bowl, who knows?
Okay.
If you think of anything else after we hang up, please feel free to get in touch with John and me.
Okay.
Yeah, email us or...
I think it'll help once I see it, what you guys put together. I think that, it'll be easier for me to add or, yeah.
Oh, yeah, or if you hear anything from Lily in the Florida, the Health Department
I
of Dade
will.
County, let us know. Appreciate it. Anexis, thanks a lot. We'll be in touch.
Thank you, Anexis.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.